What is up, y'all? Today I want to talk about one of the most kind of sleeper picks for knives that have come out relatively recently. I think this one has come out within the last year, and that is the Molesect 808 Decay. And I know you've probably seen this knife a couple times on my channel so far, but I've been carrying it and enjoying it so much lately and not really seeing very much of it out there, so I really wanted to take a moment to kind of tell you more a little bit about it and get into some more detail with it. Now, in all transparency, Molesect did send me this knife about a month ago to review, and I'm glad that they did, because I don't know if I would have gotten it otherwise. It's kind of a smaller knife, it's a little thick and a little chunky, and it's a knife that I didn't really think was my style until I started actually carrying it and using it. You're not really sure what your style is or know until you've tried more of the options that are out there. So, if you haven't tried every style, you're not totally sure what that may or may not be. And it turns out this was a lot more of my style than I thought it was. Now, in all transparency, again, they sent me this, and I will have a link in the description with it, but that is not an affiliate link. It's just a tracking link. I don't have an affiliate program set up with them. I'm not making any money off of you buying this knife if you decide that you want it. I just feel like I should tell you that. I'm not just trying to sell you this. I want to give you my genuine review on it and talk about the good and the bad. The good. This knife with the skiffs really brought it over the edge. Now, this was already a very nice, very smooth knife. I enjoyed it. I carried it around. But when I put those skiff bearings on it, now, skiffs, sometimes they make a bigger difference on knives. They make more of a difference on some than others. You can have a knife and put skiffs on it, and you may or may not feel a little bit, it may be a little more drop shutty. It may feel a little bit better on the open. This knife, it kind of really brought it over the edge. It added such a nice glassy feel to it that you usually kind of find more in like mid-tech level knives. Like the opening and closing feeling on this knife has become so addicting, more than knives that are 4 times the price of this one, that I just am surprised that this feeling of a knife is coming in at less than $200. $15 pair of skiffs on there that to really bring it that much over the edge. So we've got a blade of S90V steel. I think you have just over 2.5 inches of actually cutting length on this blade. This one is about 6.5 inches overall, so it's a relatively smaller knife. We can compare it to something common like a Vosteed Porcupine and something a little bit on the smaller side like a Spyderco Little Native. So we can see we've got just about as much, if you include the choil, we've got just about as much handle space as the Little Native, but we got a good 1/2 inch more of actually cutting area with that. And closed up they are, of course, this one is a tad bit bigger than the Little Native. Let me bring that more into frame, sorry. But, it's not too much bigger. They're still relatively small packaged knives, and they both kind of feel like big knives in a small package. Of course, the Molesect is a good bit taller. It's going to take up a little more real estate in the pocket with all that extra blade up there, but that really hasn't been as bad as I thought because, again, this is still a relatively smaller knife. But you don't really get that feeling when you're using it. The, again, titanium handle scales, and on that S90V blade, we do have these nice belt satin bevels and kind of like a bead blast on the flats. We've got this little blade window for opening, and it does just, again, have some excellent opening and closing action. The front flipper on it, the jimping is just right. It's not too aggressive or anything like that. It feels good. This is a very, very good front flipper. You can even do a good index flip on it very well. We've got a couple of wide jimping on there, and it's not so aggressive that it's going to dig into your finger, but it does add enough grip that you're not really going to slip and slide over it. With that finger choil, that gives us enough to have a very comfortable full 4-finger grip, and I do have some large to extra large hands. So that is nice that we're getting that big amount of grip on this relatively small knife. The way that they do the contouring on this is really nice too. It's kind of geometric, kind of angular. It's not just a smooth round contouring. We've got these knocked down kind of flats on the, I don't know what I want to call them flats, but it is kind of an interesting angular design with the way that they knock down these corners here. And that does make it feel really nice in the hand. Like this thing really melts in the hand. I hate when people talk about hot spots. I think that's kind of silly, but there is no hot spots on this knife. It feels very, very smooth in the hand. The pocket clip is excellent, in and out of the pocket with ease. The lock bar relief cutout is far enough away from the tension point on the lock bar that you're not going to get bound up here in this area. Sometimes when the slats or the cutout is too close to this point on the clip, you get a little trouble in and out. It can kind of be a pain. None of that here. We've got some other strategically placed jimping here to where it can grip into your palm when you are holding it, and it's just been fantastic. We don't really have a lot of cutout for the lock bar, but this thing is kind of chunky enough to where you don't really need it. The lock bar access is just fine. It's great even. Don't ever have a problem finding it. You know, there's no extra grip or anything on there, but you don't need it. It's very smooth. There you can see how much of that darkened area is the lock bar. It's just been, it's very purposefully designed there. Like that is a very sleek lock bar access. There's no like really cutout window or anything. Like very, very nice. We've got this kind of integrated backspacer here that's got a little lanyard hole cut out and just some, I'm not really sure what that symboling is there, but this thing has surprised me very, very much. It's been great to use. It's sharpened up nicely. I haven't gotten it tested yet to see the condition on that S90V, but that'll be going over to Taylor Hardness here soon, so we can check it out. The pocket clip is not reversible. It's not very deep carry, but it's such a, you know, it's a knife on the smaller end, so I don't really need it to be deep carry anyway. And you know, this thing, if I had to say anything bad, it is a little oyster, isn't it? It is a little, you know, chunky thing there. But it's made me appreciate this kind of knife more, where I never really thought that I would before actually getting to handle this knife. Again, if they didn't send it to me, I would have never bought it. But knowing what I do now, and if I didn't have it, I definitely would. I definitely would go buy it if I was looking for a knife in this size, titanium frame lock. I'm surprised how much people don't care for titanium frame locks. I mean, I get it sometimes on a flipper, like if you don't want a frame lock with a flipper, because if you're pushing in on that frame lock at all, your flipper gets bound up. But otherwise, I mean, they are... I like the button top liner locks. Like those were my favorite for a while. Compression locks you can never go wrong with. Even the good old liner lock is great, but the titanium frame lock, I don't know what it is. The action on them, the feeling of them, they always bring me back. If I had to pick one, if I had to have a one and done lock, it's going to be a titanium frame lock. The texturing on this titanium, it's not too slick. It is very smooth. So it does feel very nice in the hand, but it doesn't feel slick at all. You've got a good grip. This thing isn't going anywhere. But you should definitely check out a Molesect 808 Decay. It's one of my top picks for knives of relatively recent releases. I think this one, it's been out within the last year, but this is a sleeper here. This one people should be more aware of this thing. I'm not sure why it isn't more popular. Probably because Molesect is a relatively newer brand, so they're not getting out there as much. Molesect, I don't know, the name might be a little funny, but you know, they're making some really cool stuff. I had the other Molesect. I ended up giving it away in a giveaway, but it was a 14C that was ground super thin behind the edge. The 14C tested to above 60 Rockwell. That was a killer knife. This is a killer knife. If you haven't heard of Molesect, they're definitely worth checking out. And if you want an entry into one of them, check out the 808 Decay and definitely get some skiffs. I also have a link in the description if you want some skiff bearings for this or any other skiff bearings as well. Use code KNIFEPOW to get 10% off of some skiffs. But yeah, definitely check them out. Thank you for watching.